You will be speaking about how to use memoQ for fictional language.
Thank you, Gonzalo, for a nice introduction. I'm absolutely thrilled to see that so many of you share my own fascination for constructed language and are curious to learn how a real localization tool, in our case memoQ, can be used for working with such a language. To start with, do you know which constructed languages can be picked when you create a new memoQ project? Constructed language, I mean an artificial language, a man-made language. Klingon is definitely one of them. Another one, Esperanto. So far, these are the only two languages I've seen. The language I'm working with is not yet on the list of selectable languages. In my daily work, I use a language called Planco, which has been developed for a game called Planet Coaster. It has been released by Frontier Developments in November 2016. This is an amazing theme park simulation game where the users can create their own theme parks, their own rides, their scenery and decoration. They can manage every single aspect of their park, starting from the general opening hours down to the tiniest detail, like whether a roller coaster has to wait for a full load before the car can leave the station. And the community can also share their own creations, their roller coasters, their decorations with their peers, with the other people in the community. So at the moment, the last time I checked, on Steam Workshop, there were over 100,000 community creations for Planet Coaster, which is a stunning number. But what would an amusement park be without guests walking around, sitting on the rides, spending their money so you could build even bigger and more extravagant rides? And where would these guests be without just walking around in your park, chatting very heavily, discussing how well they like your park? So we do need guests. The next question is, what kind of language should they use among themselves? Should we go for a traditional approach, like the dialogues are written in English, because Frontier is based in Cambridge, UK, and then this will be localized into other languages that we support in game? But the thing with this is, when we're looking at these parks, do we see them in the US or Germany, Japan, and realize that we don't really see that. We wanted to build a game which transcends borders, which is location agnostic. So we decided not to go for this strategy. Another idea was to simply use non-verbal sounds, laughs, screams, angry growling if something is too expensive. But then again, the problem with this approach was that they didn't really give the kind of depth and personality to these amazing guests walking around in your park. And that was the moment when my colleague, somewhat linguophile sound designer, James Stant, came up with the idea of developing our very own language for Planet Coaster. This is something that a few games have done before, for example, Sims or some of the space games where they use a made-up language for alien races. But it's not very common, you know. So we decided to start playing around with words, creating a new language, and recording dialogues that the guests had among themselves. So how did James start creating words for a brand new language? He followed three distinct main strategies. One of them was onomatopoeia, so the word sounds like the concept they describe. So what would be your 2 cents? What does hoof mean?
Dog.
It's a dog. Gurk. Sick. Vru, who has a young son. Vroom, vroom. That means a car. Zoom would be fast. So this is the kind of sound that a train would make when it's passing by you. And dong. Imagine this huge wooden log falling over and making this doing sound. So that's our word for wood. The other strategy was using words which kind of sound similar to existing languages. So let me ask the German speakers, what's your take on Jahre? Any guesses? Jahre? Year. Has. Hot. Speakers of any language. Pork. Italian or Spanish speakers, your take on Deo? God would be a good guess, but in fact it's Dei, so Dia. Momino is one of my favorites. It's a mixture of mom and bambino, I'm from Italian. Papino would be dad, logically. Another approach was just plain word association. So one of the words up there is mud. It means clear, the saying clear as mud. Lukma, it means credits, the list of people who contributed to the game. That comes from, Lukma, I'm on the telly! Hita, that's a word for recipe. Because when you start cooking, you have all these ingredients, this and that, so from this, that, it constructed Hita. Gristache means pirate, because they are grizzly and they wear mustache. And then there are a couple of just personal inspirations. Catordes, that's a word for dangerous. And this is an anagram for Thargoids, the alien race from our space epic game called Are You Dangerous? Klaba, it comes from clanging and banging, which was the name of the audio department at one of James's previous studios. So that's a word for audio. And Bigu, when James was a tiny little lad and he was learning English, all the cows for him were big cows. So Bigu, that's a big cow, good cow. Yep, so we created words, we recorded some dialogues, but at this point all the translation was done in Excel spreadsheet done by a simple macro. And then somebody had this smart idea that we will have a new website and we should translate it, among our other supported languages, into Planco. Now that actually called for a more sophisticated, a more robust solution, which was memoQ, which is our regular tool of choice for any translation work at Frontier. So, a couple of things. Normally, I guess you know fragment assembly, but most of you probably don't use it that much because for most kind of texts and languages, it's not very useful. In my case, that's the ultimate solution for everything. So this is how I customize my memoQ appearance. You may or may not know that you can actually rearrange the order of your hits in the translation window, depending on which one you need most. Well, in most cases, this would be the TM listed first, because that's what we tend to rely on most, and then the TBs and other glossary resources, and maybe somewhere down and towards the bottom you would have the fragment assembly. Now in my case, I just fixed my fingers on Ctrl+1, so I could just keep on inserting the fragment assembled matches. And as you can see, well, of course I started with importing the glossary from the Excel into a memoQ term base. So you can see that I have this nice sentence here and all the words are listed here. Fragment assembly done, Ctrl Enter, next one. Planco doesn't have its own grammar. It's a substitution language based on English. So in my case, this solution actually works perfectly in most cases. As a simple but smart machine translation engine, not like the one that Mike has explained in the previous amazing session. But then again, as with most machine translation processes, it cannot work without a human being doing some post-editing work. Why is that? The resolution is not ideal, but you may say that, for example, I haven't yet managed to get fragment assembly work to insert non-translatable items from my non-translatable lists. So I have to migrate my brand name, in-game brands, into a separate TB. The apostrophe S for the possessive structure, that doesn't get picked up by fragment assembly at the moment. This is something I've only noted. This problem only came up recently. So I'm probably going to set it up as an auto-translation rule. That might work. What's your take on it? Probably that would be a nice approach. And that's one tricky little bugger. So this indefinite article in English, it's A before consonants and N before vowels. Now, we have this substitution rule, but it cannot be guaranteed that the Planco word that we follow will start with either vowel or consonant, so this has to be checked manually every single time. And then again, there are a couple of words which tend to look the same in English, but they mean different things. More generic case would be the S at the end of the word, whether it's a plural noun or whether it's a third person singular for a verb. But there are these words, right, which have 4 different meanings in a Planco dictionary. So I use metadata to distinguish between these different options, like defining the part of speech, or just adding a couple of notes, like this right means privilege, that right means the opposite of left, etc. But again, this has to be checked manually, because memoQ actually randomly picks one of them. So normally memoQ picks term-based hits based on the priority set for the different term bases, or the kind of penalties you can set for different metadata, so, or insert a new word. There are a couple of strategies, but coming from the same term base, added by the same user, at exactly the same time, memoQ just doesn't know how to handle it and how to pick the right version, so it just picks one randomly. And as I already mentioned, I cannot really rely on the TM because fuzzy matches normally cause more headache than they are actually useful. But there is this really cute little feature called match patch. Since, as I mentioned, I have all my words in a glossary in a term base, it can patch some occasional TM hits using the change verb. So then we had another idea, a third website. Why don't we translate the game UI into Planco? At the moment, Planet Coaster is localized into English, Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. Why not do it in Planco? Yep, let's see what we can do with the glossary creation. So what we did, we wanted to prioritize the glossary creation based on the frequency of the words. So if there is a word which just happens all the time on the game UI, then those were the words that we wanted to have a Planco translation first. So we used term extraction. These are not really the usual settings that you would use when you extract terms. So my setting was minimum length 2 characters. You would normally want to have something like 4 or 5 to give you meaningful hits. Maximum length, 1 word. Again, you would normally look for longer expressions as well in your term extractions. I just wanted to get a list of words. I didn't want to have a stop list. Stop list would be a list of words like of, and, it, that you normally wouldn't want to have in your term base. Why would you? I do want to have them in mind. And I also wanted to look up any words which I already have in my term base. Why would I want to come up with a new word if it's already there? So after this term extraction, I had a nice prioritized list of words that are not yet in the Planco dictionary, and they were sorted in the order of frequency. So this was the list of words that my colleague James started to work his way down when he was creating new words. But then again, memoQ users, and memoQ can have a lot of fun, but why should memoQ have all the fun? Instead, we decided not to publish Planet Coaster in Planco, but rather publish the glossary that I mentioned that we created with James. It can be found on our website. And we came up with a community translation tool. Before you get scared, its simple idea is we extracted all the text from the game in a simple XML file that we publish. It's available to the community. They can download it, they can edit, change English into Planco, and they can import and use this file in runtime on their own machine. So the options are there. So we are waiting for the community to create their own translation of the game into Planco. Because as I mentioned, our community is insanely creative, so they love playing around with things that we provide them with, and they love creating their own content, including text. So far this has been a really fun ride, but what should we do next? Maybe we should create some more learning resources. As I mentioned, we have already published our glossary on the website, but we could do some yes, suggestions always welcome. Or maybe web translator tool, like Google Translate. Or again, our community has already started coming up with amazing things. They have already created a web translator, so you type your English word into one field, expression, sentence, and then it translates whatever it can into Planco. You can type in a website address, and then it brings up the website translated into Planco. Just recently, I found a video. One of our community members started creating a Planco language course for beginners, and we found on YouTube. So I'm really curious to see where that will go. So Viber, that's Planco for thank you. I don't know, do we have any time for questions? Okay, then we do have some time for questions. So in the meantime, let me put my contact details up on the slide if you would like to get more information on Planco and the game.
Do you guys actually talk Planco to each other?
Well, we do greet each other sometimes as heyo, which is Planco for hello, and we do use Weiber or Vapes at the end of our emails. So, yeah.
How big is your glossary currently?
Okay, so how big is our glossary? The total size is slightly more than 7,000 entries, but this includes different forms of the verb, so past perfect, gerund, third person singular, but the core glossary would be close to 2,000 individual words.
Is it Planco evolving? The language is changing because you allowed the community to communicate, to see the glossary. Maybe they just started to evolve the language?
Yes, so whether Planco has started evolving due to the community input. At the moment, we keep the ownership of language and of coming up with new words. So the only evolution that you can see with Planco is, let's say when a new announcement is published on the website and it contains words which don't yet exist in Planco, then we have to come up with new words for that. But the community does not contribute to words as of now. Any more questions? Okay, so let me just have a quick announcement. So to continue having fun and be playfully serious, thank you, Gabor. I bought 5 copies of Planet Coaster, so if you're interested to give it a try, then there is one simple task for you. I will be here or throughout the conference, so come to me, greet me and introduce yourselves in Planco, and tell me what your favorite Planco word is. And the first 5 people to achieve this feat will get a copy of Planet Coaster. So if there are no more questions, then let me just share a video with you. I hope the guys in the other room won't be too mad. I just wanted to share with you how this language sounds when spoken, not by a native speaker, but, but how it can be found in the game.
Es so wanna be